Alright. Ah, the very person. I just need someone to help me test this app I've just downloaded. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yes, if you can just go and stand in front of that hedge there and face this way. Yeah, okay. How's this? Yeah, that's fine. So what is it then? Some sort of camera app? No, not a camera, no. So what is it then? It's a laser. A laser? What? Yeah. And it works! Ha! That's pretty good.
Meejah.
Hello, welcome back to the Meejah channel. I'm your host, William Hugh. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to produce the classic Star Trek style laser zap. Now you can produce this effect without any special effects programs like After Effects. In fact, you can produce it without a particularly fancy video editor, because this effect can be done in virtually any video editor at all. And to prove the point, I'll be doing the demonstration on my old friend Windows Movie Maker version 6. Now don't get hung up on the version of Windows Movie Maker I'm using, and don't even get hung up on which video editor I'm using, because like I say, this can be done on any video editor. It's the technique that's important, not the video editor. Okay? So, providing your video editor can cut and fade and do a screen grab, and most of them can, then you can do this effect. And this is how. First, of course, you will need to shoot your video. In order to pull off this effect, your camera must not move at all while you shoot. Ideally, lock it off on a tripod, or rest it on something solid, like a wall, and don't touch it while it's shooting. Get your victim to act up to the point where the laser would zap him, and then get him to vacate the scene, and just let the camera capture 10 to 15 seconds of nothing but the background. This actorless background is what's known as a clean plate, and we'll need it later to pull off the effect. Having filmed the video clip you need for the effect, load it into the editor of your choice. In this case, Windows Movie Maker version 6.1, and drag it down to the timeline. Now run the video up to the part where the victim will get zapped, and split the clip. Now run it on again up to the point where the video becomes what's known as a clean plate. That is, there is no actor visible, just the background. And split it again. You can now delete this middle bit that contains all the stuff we don't need. If we now run the remaining clips together, you will notice that we get a standard disappearing effect. But for a laser effect, we need a little bit more. So click your cursor back one space at a time until you hit the last frame with the actor in it, and take a screenshot of it. And on this editor, that's done by clicking on Tools and Take Picture from Preview. Now to make the picture easy to find, I'm going to save it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it Pre-Zap1. And also I'm saving it as a JPEG. Next, we need to open up our photo editor. Again, anyone will do, but for this demo, I'm using paint.net, which is excellent and also free. So if you haven't got a photo editor, you can find a download link for this one on the Meejah webpage. Okay, so let's just open the picture which we saved on the desktop, and I'll just zoom the view a bit to make it easier to see. So the first thing we need to do is to grab the lasso selection tool, and use it to select an area slightly larger than the actor. Now this doesn't have to be tidy, as it's all going to contribute to the laser zap effect. Now when you've finished the selection, click on Adjustments and select the Brightness Contrast control. Now just raise the brightness and contrast controls to get a pleasing, harsh looking effect on the actor. There, I'll just click anywhere on the picture to deselect it. Next we need a laser beam, so choose the line tool and select a nice lazily pink for the colour. And a beam width of about 4 should do it, and I'll just draw it from the chest to outside the frame like this. Well, that completes the first adjusted frame. So just save as again. On my desktop as a JPEG. And I'll call this one Laser Hit. And yes, we'll save it at 100% quality. Now we need another doctored frame to produce the illusion, so I'll just click the undo arrow to remove the laser beam we've just made, because we don't need it in the next frame. Next, add a layer to the picture by clicking Layer, then Add New Layer. We're going to add a nice glow to the actor now, so choose a nice bright yellow colour. Then choose the paintbrush tool. We need it fairly big, so let's play with the size here. There, 20 looks about right. Now using the brush, draw an outline a little bit bigger than the actor himself. And fill it in. Again, this doesn't have to be tidy. And once you've completed the fill in, select Layer Properties and bring down the opacity until it looks like a glow. Excellent. Now add one more new layer, and this time choose a brilliant white colour. And using the brush tool, paint the actor's body white. Again, this doesn't have to be tidy, but try not to extend outside the body edges. Then once again choose Layer Properties and reduce the opacity. There, that looks about right. So click OK and save as again to the desktop. And I'll call this one Full Zap. And save it as a JPEG at 100% quality. Now because we've added layers to this picture, the program is asking us for permission to flatten them into one image, which is fine, so just click on that to say OK. And now we have both the images we need to produce the effect. OK, so now we go back to our edit and we import the two frames we have just created. Drag the first new frame, the one we labelled Laser Hit, and drop it in the splits we made earlier. Now if we run the edit, you can see that the zap is way too long. So trim the clip until the length feels right. This is largely down to your own judgment, so feel free to play around with it. Now drag the next frame, the one we named Full Zap, behind the first one. Running the edit now gives you all the elements of the effect, if a little jerkily. So first we must soften the join between the two frames. Now I'll just zoom up the timeline a bit to make it easier to see. We now need to fade frame 2 into frame 1 by simply grabbing it and pushing it into the first frame, like this. And roughly halfway into the first frame should do. As we can see, this produces a nice smooth transition from one to the other. The final glow stage, however, is way too long. So once again we use our judgment to trim its length down to a suitable size. And now of course we need the glowing actor to gently fade away. This is done in exactly the same way as the first clip, by simply fading the glow frame into the clean plate clip by pushing the two together like this, leaving only a little bit of the glow frame unfaded. Running the edit now shows the full effect. To complete the illusion, just drag your laser zap sound effect down to the audio timeline to start directly under the join between the clip and the first doctored frame. Now if you want to use the same sound effect I used in this demo, then you can download it free from the Meejah webpage. The address is here. And there it is. The effect is now complete. Render it to video, and this is what you get. So there you go, my little fluffykins, that's how it's done. You are now possessors of the secret knowledge of lasering. Well, all this talk has made me rather thirsty, so I think I'll have a nice cup of tea now. Oh, and I'll see you next time on the Meejah channel.
Meejah.